and she's obviously been through some traumatic experience. She was away at this island and all of her friends were killed. And then we flash forward 5 years later, and that's where the bulk of the movie takes place. And Molly has a lot to deal with, psychologically. So yeah, she's dark and she's mysterious. And
I'm playing Chantal Etienne, who is a French girl who was apparently raised in a very rich family. She's very involved with this course, and she made a great deal of preparation and everything, and she feels qualified to lead the others. And she would like to be a leader. She would like to be the one with everybody wants to go out. She's envious of Molly, and she's trying to keep the other students' attention by different manipulations and lies. Interesting.
I play Jason Corda, who's one of the college students in Professor Kane's class, in his criminology class, and I like to say that he's got kind of a quiet power. He's kind of a quiet guy, kind of likes to sit back and kind of watch everything, and there's something a little bit, I think, a little odd about him because he's so quiet. I think it scares people, but you know, he's a really strong kind of guy. He's very strengthened. He's very probably one of the more put together ones out of the bunch, I think. So.
What attracted
Okay, my character is the British girl, the sexy girl that kind of fancies and flirts with everyone. I think she has a bit of a thing for her teacher, Kane, and I don't know whether they get it on or not. I'm not going to give away, but she's just very. She's a party girl. She likes going out. She likes dressing up sexy. She's just like a full-on kind of. And I think the other girls are a bit insecure about it. I don't really like her because she's not really a girl's girl. She's more for the guys and that kind of thing, which is a nice part to play, I must say, because I get to meet lots of nice, sweet guys.
All the elements and all the information of Jack the Ripper was actually in the movie. Things that probably a lot of the only Ripper buffs would know. Lots and lots of things that only Ripper buffs, and there's a lot of Ripper buffs out there. I've found that out since. Huge amount of people out there that know everything about Jack the Ripper that we, as you know, as an audience, know about the way he killed people, the MO, the autopsy reports, the letters that he sent. Those are the true facts. I mean, I actually sent for I actually got a copy of the Ripper file.
Because it's a guarantee of a great date. I'm telling you, it is across the board. Don't you girls ever say you don't want to cuddle up, because you do. Well, I don't know. It's very tempting to be very serious about that kind of question. I do believe that there is a part of us that is, obviously, and it's page one, we're attracted to the unknown. And in a sense, when we get scared, in a strange way, it vicariously allows us to stay in touch with the fact that we are alive. We're a part of life, you know. Why do people throw themselves out of perfectly good aeroplanes with a funny little chute attached? You know, and it's an incredible rush. And I've done it myself, and it's wonderful. And in the same way, it's good, a good kind of feeling, because you know it's not going to last forever, because it is just a film. So, you know, but I still think kind of a great date is probably the number one reason.
Well, I think every actor wants to do at least one horror movie in their career, because it just looks so, when you see it on screen, it just looks so fun, because they're running through rain and they get to scream, and it just looks so exciting, and it looks so great put together. But then when you actually make one, it's like you're always wet, you're always damp, and it's fun, but it's not as fun as it looks. So yeah, it's fun to get to be the victim and to get to be all scared and, you know, play the whole damsel in distress type of thing.
Do you know what? It's quite funny because you open doors and there's rats coming out at you and spiders everywhere, and like you're screaming one minute and then just cracking up the next minute because it's like these little fake rats or these dead rats, and it's just like it should be really disgusting and really bad, but you just have to laugh because it's just that's how you have to get on with it and do it. And it's quite cold having all the blood on you, so you just have to make the most of it. And the cast are so brilliant. We've had such a great time, and I think we should have had like a behind the scenes documentary because that would have made a film in itself, all the goings on behind the scenes. So that's been really cool.
Obviously something that makes you think. I like psychological thrillers, and I think what sets our film apart from possibly other movies that you can typecast in that kind of genre movie is that this covers a broad gamut of psychology, in the fact that there are so many different people who are attracted to study with this Professor Kane for so many different reasons. They all have a story, and the fact that there is if you will, a twofold situation going on, which is you've got a real-life detective and a real-life profiler kind of examining each other all the way through. So the psychology of that, to me, brings up a broader scope than just a horror movie, because I don't really think this is a horror movie. It's a coincidence that unfortunately people kind of come under the scalpel, but that's not the main thrust of it.
Well, I think it has a bit of a sophistication that you won't find in a lot of other horror films. Yes, we want to scare people extremely as much as we possibly can, but it does have a storyline and characters that are somewhat unique.
It's got two layers. It's got the contemporary layer, but it also has the period layer underneath of exactly what is happening is intermingled with today. Because somebody gets killed in this nice the year 2000 room doesn't mean they can't be that they weren't murdered in the same with the same MO and the same style as the original victims. So I think that as it describes in the movie, I think that this killer adapts to the situations that present themselves, but he does adapt going back in time to 1888 basically to Jack the Ripper and the way that he murdered his victims.
I think it's a clever script. It's fast and it's funny too, because there is a lot of comedy scenes. It's also a story about human relationships and what is appearances, and that wasn't very interesting. So I think everybody can be attracted by that.
I don't really think that there's been a really good, like, sort of bloody horror movie in a while. Am I right or what? You know, there's been like the Scream type films and the classic now teen slasher things, but this kind is going back to the old jumps, you know, the old type of horror film where you really get scared. And I kind of felt that when I read the script, so I thought maybe there would be something new here. John's great. Yeah, he's great. He really takes time with the actors. He takes time to step away from the scene and discuss it and, you know, talk about where you're going with it, and he has a lot of integrity for the project. It's cool when you see that with a director, you know, especially someone who has a resume behind him, to still have that integrity. It's always a blessing to work with a director like that, and he has that. You know, he's right out there with us when we're getting soaked and cold in the woods. He's there getting soaked and cold in the woods too. He's a good guy.
John Ayres. He's great. He's got a lot of passion. He's got a lot of energy, which is always nice for a director to have, especially when you're on the schedule that we're on. It's really, really busy. We got a whole bunch of scenes crammed into one day, and there's a lot of emotional stuff, and it's great to have a director that's always there and ready to hype you up and get you going. And his motto is I think he said his motto is, you know, every day is day one, and you have to keep that in mind. That every day you walk onto the set, you're just like, okay, we're gonna make a good movie here. So he's got lots of energy, and I really admire that about him.
He's fun. He's fun, and he's got so many great ideas. Like just the different shots that are like so they're complicated. I mean, you look at it on screen and it, you know, you probably wouldn't notice it, but I think he does these shots and they're like so complicated, blah, blah, blah. So he's very cool, very fun and very nice, and he's got a great accent.